The title of my blog this week is "One Question for President Obama Can Boost the Economy." Here's why I say that. When I'm trying to be persuasive, I like to stick to the fact. I think the facts are very persuasive. Number one, the U.S. Census Bureau tells us that small businesses create over 90% of all net new jobs. The Census Bureau sent someone out to everybody's house in America. That data is very accurate. The Kauffman Foundation did an independent study that found that small businesses have created 100% of the net new jobs since 1980. No matter who you talk to, it's irrefutable. You can't debate it. Small businesses create the overwhelming majority of net new jobs in America. Number two, there's a federal law that says a minimum of 23% of all federal contracts and subcontracts should go to small businesses. Well, that makes sense. The Census Bureau also tells us that small businesses are responsible for half the gross domestic product and over half the private sector workforce. So making sure they get 23% of the contracts, not only is it federal law, but it's a great idea. I think of the Small Business Act as the most cost-effective economic stimulus bill ever passed by Congress. But here's the problem. Since 2003, over a dozen federal investigations have found that most of the money that's supposed to go to small businesses actually goes to Fortune 500 firms here in the U.S. and some of the biggest companies around the world, like Finmeccanica in Italy, for example, Rolls-Royce, Thales in France, British Aerospace. Been 100 stories on that. But it's gone on now for 12 years because it doesn't get, I don't think, the media attention that it deserves. If one journalist, just one journalist, would ask President Obama on camera, why is your administration diverting federal funds that by law are set aside for small businesses to the biggest companies in the world? In a White House press conference, somewhere on the campaign trail, if just one person could get him on camera and ask him, why is your administration in the middle of the worst economic downturn in 80 years diverting small business funds to large businesses? He talks about small businesses, job creation. Every time you see him talking, he's talking about, the economy and you've got to put it back to work and, whatever. Every day that he's been president, millions of dollars that by law should be going to small businesses are going to the biggest companies on earth, and no journalist has ever asked him why. That's why I say one question for President Obama could shine national attention on this and force the administration to stop it. If they stop giving small business contracts to Fortune 500 firms, our research shows it could redirect as much as $100 billion a year in existing federal infrastructure spending back into the middle class, where most Americans work, where most of the gross domestic product comes from, and where over 90% of all the net new jobs. One question. Thanks. Lloyd Chapman with the American Small Business League.